Well, it's Friday, and you all know what that means. As you know, we have AEW Rampage, so we have some interesting matches that are taking place. Darby Allin versus the Butcher, Private Party taking on the Dawsons, Wheeler Yuta versus Rocky Romero, and Saraya versus Nyla Rose. And then, of course, we're going to see who levels up on this latest episode of NXT Level Up. But first things first, we're going to be reviewing two of Wrestling's promotions, with of course Oz Academy with Battle Big Bonus in Nagoya. This particular event was recently took place by the end of July on the 28th. This one features, of course, one championship match, but the rest are pretty good. However, related to, of course, with Oz Academy, as you know, the big boss herself, Mayumi Ozaki, makes her way to Marvelous as she defends the AAW Championship against Takumi Iroha. As you know, she has held this belt hostage since last year, but the real question does tell: will she win it back against her, of course, in their home territory? Well, we're just gonna see. But not only that, belt is also on the line. Magenta, as you know, have been a strong, capable tag team, will defend their belt against one of the strongest and most powerful tag teams in the Yoshi wrestling scene. We're talking about Team 200 Kilogram, you and Big Hash herself. So we'll see if they're put to the test. And then, of course, we cap up our episodes with some news updates to give you guys update what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, and some developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Lead It Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Lead It Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is the channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was not unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. And of course, we also do the Nike Sayaka Watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. So, all introductions have set aside, let's get rocking here. So, let's begin with our very first review, and I believe this is from the Yoshi promotion, Oz Academy. Okay, our first review. This is from Yoshi Promotion Oz Academy. This is their much recent show that took place back in July on the 28th in Nagoya, called Battle Big Bonus. Now, there's only one championship match on this one, nothing too significant, but the rest is fine. I think it's interesting how things are with the last two matches, but we'll get to those. Now, our first match, we have Honoka from Pro Wrestling Wave takes on Maya Yuhiki. Now, of course, Maya Yuhiki, as you know, later on this month, she'll be facing her boss, Mayumi Ozaki, for the Openweight Championship due to the fact that, of course, Mayumi is having problems that in Oz Academy where Azuki-gun failed in their task. But it appears now Azuki-gun could be on the verge of exploding. But I have to say, Honoka really, really impressed me. Even though she has less experience, maybe a year or two, but she was able to get everything done in the ring well. But unfortunately, Yukihito tried a somewhat version of the blackout that Lance Archer tries, and that seems to the trick in order to put away to win the match. So just like that, it was just done. Next up, we have a tag team action. We have Itsuki Aoki and Ram Kaicho taking on Flying Penguin and you. Yeah, folks, there is a wrestler calling herself Flying Penguin. Don't ask me why. I don't want to know the answer to that because, who doesn't love penguins? Besides, the only time I do see penguins if I go to SeaWorld. But yeah. But anyway, I have to say it was a very interesting matchup. Flying Penguin really, really, really stepped up to the plate, but however, that was not enough because it was, of course, Aoki who picked up the win, and I believe she did a diving body splash onto her in order to pick up the win. Now, our next match is a three-way match, and this is for the Oz Academy Pioneer Championship. We have Kohaku from Wave versus Coyote Yorayama. Now, remember, this is before it was announced that she'll be out for a while due to an injury. And then, of course, we have the champion Mask Hanahana. I think that's her name. But yes, there was basically three ways are unpredictable. You don't know how this is gonna play out. But however, it was a very simple, dirty trick coming from Hanahana with a eye gouging, and then of course doing a pinfall onto Yonayama, and just like that, she retained the belt. Now, our next match, we have a 6-woman tag match. We have Zones, Rina Yamashita, and Lady Destroyer Hiroi Matsumoto taking on Azaki-gun, consisting of Kakeru, Sayuri Nui, and of course Mayumi Ozaki. Now, of course, you would think that Mayumi Ozaki is not in a good mood. However, due to the fact that she does not her trusty sidekick, the dirty cop, not being there, she of course averted to her usual tricks. We did see a somewhat version of a tug of war with the chain, and that didn't work so well. And then we did see a splash mountain by by Rina Yamashita onto Kakeru and winning the match. However, in the post match, Mayumi was not happy with the results of this match. She was dissatisfied and poured water right into Heku, and of course, so he doesn't know what to think. I don't know. I feel that Ozaki-gun is going to explode at some point, but we don't know. But we'll see. Now, our main event, we have Tsubasa Kuragaki teaming up with Akino, taking on, of course, our current Oz Academy Tag Team Champions in a non-title match, Ryu Mizunami and Sonoko Sato. So basically, you would think this is going to be an interesting match because if, of course, Kuragaki and Kino win, they do get a shot of the tag team belts at some point. Well, you would think there was going to be a lot of power for power in this match. Well, that's exactly what happened because it was Mizunami with a big lariat that allowed her to pick up the win. And of course, no one has issued a challenge for those tag belts. So I think that's pretty much it with Oz Academy. I believe it's time to move on with Marvelous. Okay, marvelous. This recently took place on August 8th in Korakuen Hall. Now, we have two championship matches in this one, and they're the only ones they have, the tag titles and the AEW championship. So we'll get to that little by little. Now, of course, we did see the open up with the roll call. Those who know this or not, you're not going to believe me. You're going to think I'm full of it. Alan Angels was there. Yes, guys, Alan Angels, better known as Five from the Dark Order, was there. Now, I know some of you were thinking, what the hell is he doing there? Well, I can think the obvious reason. He must have been chosen to go on tour for Japan. Now, I'm not sure if he will be making appearances in Noah, because those who appear in West Coast Pro and other places, they do appear in Marvelous. They do have a bit of a relationship with West Coast Pro, and of course, those guys appear in Noah. Now, I'm not sure if Alan Angels has any appearances there, but hopefully one day if he does, good for him. But let's move on with our very first match. We have an 8-woman elimination match. Now, I'm not able to tell you the order because I kind of got lost in the shuffle trying to write it. But here's who was involved. Team number 1, we have Ai Hausen, Unagi Sayaka, Isuki Aoki, and Shikayo Nagashima. Team number 2, Miyu Momono, Sandra Moon, Jesse Jackson, and Sada Leon. Now, basically, you may notice that Miyu Momono has a lot of her foreign friends involved in this, but it's great that she's doing that. So basically, this match ended with Miyu Momono, of course, applying a victory roll on Unagi. However, they have gone back and forth, both Unagi and Miyu Momono, back then, when Miyu Momono was still the AEW champion. But nonetheless, they will cross paths again at some point. But we'll see. Now, our next match is the only male exhibition match they have here. We have a guy named GHC. He teams up with Titus Alexander, and their opponents are none other than Alan Angels and Leo Azaka. Now, of course, as I said before, Alan Angels is in this one. It's kind of interesting to see that he is now wrestling outside of AEW since he was released and appearing in various independent promotions. But, however, it's great that he's doing something good for himself. But he had to deal with, of course, Titus Alexander, who is the most experienced, appearing in Japan. But also, he has a big partner that will have his side. But, however, it was, of course, Titus Alexander that picked up the win with a German suplex onto Leo, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match, this wasn't really a wrestling match. It was a bit of a competition. Now, those who know this or not, a while back, Chi-Chi won some sort of battle royale or something, and she wanted to have a match against Shigusa. Now, I don't know exactly what type of competition they had in mind, but one thing that was funny, you guys seen Chi-Chi, how she dresses in her matches. All pink, and there was one looked like a cowboy outfit. Well, I did not expect this. Shigusa dressed up just like her. And of course, Chi-Chi was a bit of a surprise. Now, they had this thing where they had to pop the balloons as fast as possible. Chi-Chi won that round, and then later there was like the chugging of the soda. Well, Shigusa won that round, and then I forgot what was the other one that they did, but it was Chi-Chi who won that round. So basically, she won. So it was rather interesting. But yeah. Now, our next match, we have the AAAW Tag Team titles. Magenta, Maria and Rika Kawahara put their name to the test against one of the strongest and powerful tag teams in the Yoshi wrestling scene. Of course, Team 200 Kilogram. You and, of course, Shihiro Hashimoto. Now, you ask yourselves, can they overcome these two guys? Now, we know that Team 200 Kilogram have won tag team titles in the past. Not to mention, they are 2/3 of the All Japan Pro Wrestling World Television 6-man tag team champions. Now they are determined to add another set of gold on their side. But I have to say, no matter how strong 200 kilogram are, Magenta did everything in their power to try to slow them down. But unfortunately, it was just a bit too much. Big Hash put Maria in a power bomb, and of course, they've been crowned brand new tag team champions. So 200 kilogram dethroned Magenta, and just like that, it was a very sad loss for Magenta. I mean, I like Magenta. They were two friends who started out as enemies and rivals and now becoming friends. I'm sure they will get back on this one, but their story is not over yet, but I'll explain a little bit later. Now, you ask yourselves now that 200, the Team 200 kilogram are the new champions, what's next? Well, we just saw new challengers make their appearance. Those challengers are Sandra Moon and Jesse Jackson. So basically, they're calling them out. So sooner or later, that match will happen. But I just don't know when. Now, our main event, this is the AAAW Championship. Now, this particular belt was held hostage by Yumi Ozaki from Oz Academy last year. Now, those who remember or not, Mayumi invaded Marvelous, and at the time, Miyu Momono was the champion. And of course, she lost this belt over it. Now, wrestlers from Marvelous did everything in their power to bring this belt home. Takumi has been asking for this match, but Mayumi decided, with ducking her, being a coward that she was, has of course avoided her. However, things did not go well for her because the last time when Takumi was in Oz Academy, she defeated all three members of Oz Academy in a 3-on-1 match. She defeated Yuhiki, Anu, and of course Kageru, and Mayumi Ozaki was not happy about that. But the one thing that drew this help is Takumi helped defeat, of course, Mayumi in a three-way match, sparking that yes, I will put this belt on the line. Now, of course, here's how this match is. Those who know this, Mayumi, she likes to play dirty. She uses chairs or chain, but Takumi pleaded with the ref, let it go. Do not disqualify this match. So she is telling the ref, do not end it with a disqualification. She felt that the only way she's going to defeat her is by playing by her rules, because Mayumi doesn't give a damn about the rules. But you gotta ask yourself, was it worth it? Well, the answer to that is hell and yes, because Takumi defeated her with the running three, and just like that, the AAAW Championship is back at home to Marvelous, and now she is the new champion. I'm sure Mayumi is going to be pissed. I'm sure she's going to take her frustrations out of her own team. However, she does have to contend with knowing now she may have lost this belt, but she has to defend the other one against her own teammate. So we'll see how that rolls up. But however, just like I said about the tag team belts, who is next to challenge? Well, Takumi had not one, not two, but three challengers that stepped up. And the first one is the former champion Miyu Momono. Now, of course, Miyu Momono felt guilty for losing the belt to Mayumi, which is obviously understandable. But the other two, well, it's the former tag champions themselves, Magenta. So basically, that's what it is. Now, I don't know what they said, but I'm sure Takumi is willing to let them have an opportunity. Now, you can say, is it selfish for Rico and Maria to challenge for these belts, for this belt? I would say yes and no. I mean, they can be a bit selfish, but they have proven they are a strong, capable team. But the selfish part, I think, they don't have that much of experience in singles competition, especially when it comes to the bigger title. But we'll see what happens. Now, we probably will wait until that day has been set. I'm sure Shigusa will set up the date, and that's pretty much it. So we'll end things like this with Marvelous and move on with our next review, and that is AEW Rampage. Okay, AEW Rampage. Well, it opened up with Darby Allin taking on the Butcher. Now, this is not the first time these two guys were in a rodeo against each other. According to, of course, Tony Schiavone, last time these two confronted each other was back in 2021, I believe, when Darby Allin was the TNT champion. And of course, we all know the outcome of that match if you saw it. So basically, the obvious question we ask ourselves: does lightning strikes at the same time? Well, same place, or should I say? Well, you can say yes and no, because majority of the time the Butcher was brutalizing Darby Allin in every way possible. However, we all know Darby Allin is very relentless. No matter how much you crush his body, no matter you toss him or put him through a wall or whatever, he will keep on going. Like people, like the bad guys in the movies say, he's like a cockroach that cannot be killed. Well, you can say that Darby Allin is the good kind of cockroach who refuses to stay down. So basically, that's what happened. But it took only a coffin drop to finally put him away, and of course, Darby Allin walked away with the win. Now, during an interview, we did see Rush. Now, this interview was from after his match on Dynamite, clearly not happy with the result. Of course, Don Callis is trying to reason with him, so he will put him in a match this coming week against Preston Vance. So this is going to be very interesting. So we'll see. Now, of course, we did see, if you guys saw what happened, in exclusive content of what happened after the main event on Dynamite, Jeff Jarrett was having an interview with Renee Paquette, but he was viciously attacked from out of nowhere from Hangman. As you know, Hangman blames him for costing him, of course, the opportunity to go to Wembley Stadium. So basically, that was it. But however, Jay Lethal, in response of what happened, said on the video promo that he wants Hangman Page this coming Wednesday. So we will see how that will play out. Now, our next match, we have Wheeler Yuta versus the King of Sneaky Style, Rocky Romero. Now, you would think that this would be a bit of a warm-up for Wheeler Yuta, since we all know this coming Wednesday, he will be in a match against Swerve. As you know, Swerve wants to use him as a stepping stone for him in some capacity. But of course, he's no one's stepping stone. But however, Wheeler Yuta was able to, of course, capitalize with his submission. Now, he was unable to apply the seatbelt. And of course, throughout the entirety of the match, Bryan Danielson was watching from distance and commentating the whole thing. But Wheeler Yuta walked away with his submission, and that pretty much ends right there. Now, we do see another interview with Will Nightingale. As you know, she is not in a good place after, of course, Chris Snake Lander and that other snake himself, Stokely Hathaway, continued to bother her, And all of a sudden, she had a very interesting visit from Tomohiro Ishii, who she now calls as Big Tom. So basically, he said that he hates Stokely Hathaway for some odd reason. So he asked him if he's doing anything on Wembley Stadium. So whatever she has cooked up, I'm sure Stokely Hathaway, you better steer clear from her, from Tomohiro Ishii, because he's called the Stone Pitbull for a reason. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Our next match, we have Private Party taking on Zane and Dane Dawson. Now, I haven't seen these guys in a long time. Last time I saw these guys, they made appearances in NWA, but they haven't been seen since. But it took a gin juice to put them away. It was Brother Zane who picked up the win onto Dave, and just like that, it was over. Now, as you all know, we saw a few things that recently took place for Dustin Rhodes. As you know, he is now 1/3 of the ROH World 6-Man Tag Team Championship with the Von Erichs. But now he wants more, so he wants to challenge for the ROH World Tag Team titles. But those Tweedledee and Tweedledum show up, and I'm referring to, of course, Taven and Bennett, who believe that he doesn't deserve a shot of the tag belts or the 6-man tag team belts. So they decided to low blow but I wouldn't be surprised that Sammy will help him get a little retribution and payback for what they just did. So we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, which is our main event, is of course, you can say this is a build-up for Saraya, who is determined to make it all the way to Wembley Stadium. She has to face against a former AEW Women's Champion, the second, should I say, Nyla Rose. But however, of course, Saraya had backup to help her out, and that is Harley Cameron. That was practically the idea, but it was, of course, Saraya that picked up the win by pinfall when, of course, Harley hold the foot of Nyla Rose. I wouldn't be surprised if Nyla Rose goes after Harley Cameron out of retribution for what she just caused. So we'll see what happens until then. But for now, we are done with AEW Rampage. Let's move on with NXT Level Up. Okay, so who levels up on this latest episode of NXT Level Up? So let's find out. First, we have Dante Chen versus Keanu Carver, who we haven't seen for quite some time, according to what the commentator said. He was out on injury. But however, Dante Chen, as you know, he has a bit of momentum, he has a bit of the experience in Level Up. We have seen him recently on TNA competing in the Ultimate X qualifier, but how will he do now? Well, he actually was able to pick up the win when he applied the gentle touch, and just like that is won. So it's only a matter of time until he gets pushed to the top, but we just gotta wait and see until then. Now, before our next match, we had an interview with one of the competitors involved in the second match, Lainey Reed. Now, of course, the one thing that is concerning is her opponent, Wendy Chu. She's not a bit concerned for it, but if I was her, I definitely should be concerned, knowing too well that Wendy Chu is a little bit out there, you know what I mean? So basically, I wouldn't be letting my guard down in case of that happened. Now, how did she do against Wendy Chu? You would think that she would definitely have a bit of the momentum to take her on. But of course, Wendy Chu, well, a bit of a sicko, you probably would think she found a way. She did that one. Once again, she put her to sleep by choking the life out of her. So, just like that, it was completely over. Now, before our next match we have another interview, and this time is with Cale Dixon. Cale Dixon, we haven't seen for quite some time, also made his return, and he faces against Idris Inoue, so he had his thing to say, but the real question is, how will he do? Now, we do know that Idris Inoue recently, his tag team partner, Malik Blade, was in a match, successfully was able to win. But the real question does tell, can Idris Inoue try to catch up to Malik Blade from his win? So that is the real question. But he's facing a competitor who's a bit more taller, but his experience wrestling should play out, and that's exactly what he did. He was able to apply an elbow drop, and just like that, it was over. So he picked up the good win. So we have three people that will level up, and that is, of course, Dante Chen, the crazy Wendy Chu, and, of course, Idris Inoue. So we'll see what happens next week. But for now, we are done with all the reviews. So let's move on with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with with upcoming events from the promotions. We only have two of that. The first one is from House of Glory. As you know, on September 5th, they will be in Chicago, and it was just announced that the House of Glory Heavyweight Championship will be defended. Mike Santana defends his belt against, you guys know this guy too, former WWE alumni. Well, I don't know if you call him alumni, but he also appeared in NXT Dijak. So he will be in a championship match. And then finally, as you know, Japanese promotion P.P.P. Tokyo, as you know, they just announced their new show for next month on, of course, the 10th of September for Splash Carnival. They just announced a match that will be involved, and that is Ichikaya Miyabi She teams up with Tsurumi Natsu. They face against Risa Sera and Yuna Manase. So that's pretty much what's going on with upcoming events with the promotions. Let's talk about some developments. Now, as you know, we haven't seen Bandido for quite some time since he was injured himself, according to Wrestling Observer newsletter, that he is still not cleared, but soon he will be. We just don't know the time frame or when. So we are anticipating for his return. Now, someone has reported recently that in 2025, WWE is considering having a pay-per-view in Italy. Now, I'm sure that would be on the card for everybody to think about it, but the real question is, where will it be? I mean, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of places for Italy. I'm not sure if anybody's pumped for it, but we'll see how that goes. Now, on the good news here, those who remember Ruby Soho announced that she's pregnant with Angela Parker's baby. And as you know, we don't know the gender of the baby. Well, they just announced 2 days ago that it was a girl. So basically, congratulations. Hopefully, we get to see her. So good news coming from there. Now, as you all know, Arisa Nakajima has announced that she'll be retiring very soon. However, there are still some wrestlers that really want to have an opportunity against her, and that is, of course, Nakajima's former boss, Nanane Takahashi. If you guys remember, Nanane was in Seedling in the past, but now she said that she wants to have a match against her, but not at Seedling. She wants this match to happen in Marigold. So I'm sure Rossi will try to make it happen, but we'll just wait and see until then. We still got a bit time for that. Now, many of you are going to be surprised about this, but we all know what happened to Scott D'Amore after Hard to Kill. We were surprised with the announcement that he was fired from the company. However, recently he did an interview, and I haven't got to see the full thing. However, there was a key information that we did not know, but he revealed it, and he explained this at Bustin' Open Radio. He said that he already knew about this 2 days prior when it happened. So it happened when he was on his way from wherever he was all the way to Florida, Tampa, and there it is. They announced he was going to be fired. So he knew this is going to be it. So he decided that, you know what, I'm just going to ride off to the sunset. And that is exactly what he did. But of course, it's really ridiculous that they fired him like this. I'm sure many fans were shocked and surprised. But nonetheless, we all know that Scott D'Amore is in a good place as we speak. As you know, he revived a promotion that has not been operational in years, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. So we'll talk more about that at some other time until it's launched. But we'll see what happens. Mark Andrews was on Fightful Select. He actually gave a little interesting fact that many of you are questioning. He thinks that thinks potentially London could have a WrestleMania in response on, of course, how AEW are doing in All In. So basically, you ask yourself, we saw last year how All In was. It was a good pay-per-view. Now remember, there was that whole controversy about all that whole attendance is full of crap, but apparently it was 100% true what they said. The problem is we have people who just don't believe it. Now remember, WWE hasn't been in London since 1992. That was in SummerSlam. That was the match that we saw Bret Hart versus his brother-in-law, Davey Boy Smith. So it makes perfect sense that they want to have this match, have a WrestleMania in London. But the real question is, can they pull it off? Because we know they want to have presence there. We know that AEW has a presence there. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, the Tongan Twins, if you guys don't know, these are Tongan sisters who we have seen on as enhancements during the Dark Days. But we also seen them in Women of Wrestling. But they recently left. Now, there was a tease about them recently, about maybe a few months ago, that they may be on their way to WWE to join the Bloodline. However, the Ringside News, I don't know if this is 100% or true or not, they kind of addressed the potentially joining AEW. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You probably think, wouldn't they be better off with WWE? I mean, to be fair, yes, it would be interesting, because we do know that Zilla Fatu mentioned that he doesn't want to be the only member of the family going to AEW. He wants to continue the family thing where everybody in the family goes to WWE. So there's that. Now, as you know, Konnan, I like to say this, guys, he's full of himself. I don't know what he was saying. Now, Konnan went on word saying the reason that Cody Rhodes left AEW was because of Britt Baker. Now, I don't know if I want to buy that brand of Kool-Aid that he's talking nonsense about. And this is what he said. One of the reasons that Cody left AEW, amongst many, was there was a problem between Brandy and Britt. Tony always takes her side. You'll find out one day. Now, people were commenting about this. They're saying that they think Konnan is full of it. I mean, look, where does he get this information? I mean, we would have heard it already from Meltzer himself, or somewhere with Fightful Select. I don't know if I want to believe his crap, because people are saying right now, not negative things, but facts about Konnan, saying Konnan's the reason AAA is not doing well. I mean, generally speaking, I would say I have noticed some things like that, but yeah. But I don't know where he gets these facts, but he thinks that is the truth. But hopefully one day we can get the real truth. I'd rather not hear this with a grain of salt until I actually get the real facts. I'm sure many, the Meltzer will want to hear it, so will Sean Ross Sapp. But I don't know. We'll see. Now, as you all know, Mina Shirakawa should be already here in the States. She just recently left Japan. Many of you may ask, why is she coming here instead of participating in the 5-Star Grand Prix? But she said that AEW wanted her back immediately. So this is what she said, and this was during Tokyo Sports interview. After my match with Tony, someone from AEW asked me, when can you come next? We want you to come back soon. I fought with Tony and saw her immense popularity. That's when my competitive spirit ignited. I also wanted to make the fans here say Mina is the best and more. So basically, it's already was decided right after her match against Toni Storm back in Double or Nothing. So basically, it was already. So I think Mina had to make a decision, 5-Star Grand Prix or go to the States. So she chose that. Now, of course, she was questioned about, that, and she kind of made this what she said about why she participated in going to America instead of the 5-Star Grand Prix. It was a big gamble for me because it would leave all of my Japanese fans feeling lonely. I didn't want to miss this chance to spread Stardom's name around the world. I definitely want to grab another big opportunity and come back. So she knew it was a gamble she had to take, knowing that she had to take it. But she knows that she would have left her fans a bit sad knowing that she decided not to be there. But the real question I think many of us are questioning about is Mariah May. We all saw what happened. She betrayed Toni Storm. She even was shocked. She even put it on her X account. And this is what she said about that. It was a shock. Personally, I wanted to do something interesting with the three of us. I don't know what Mariah thinks of me or what she might do to me. So I want to find out. I think that's a good general question, I think. We don't know what Mariah is going to, what she thinks of Mina, or what she's going to do. Is she going to turn on her? Many people are saying she might turn her back on her because there are people that are already saying Mariah May will win the AEW Women's Championship and possibly Mina might challenge her. I don't know. But we will see what happens. So we'll stick close to the story. As you all know, Mina should be already here in the States. So we'll stick close to this as Cop on Donuts. But as of right now, let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. As you know, we will continue with more of the G1, so stand by for that. And of course, we got Collision. So we will see how those things progress. So on priority Those two are the top priority. There are other wrestling events I haven't seen yet. As we speak, we by the time this video is out, it's already finished. We just begun, of course, with the 5-star Grand Prix. So this is only the first round of the matches or so, but we'll see how that plays out. Hopefully, I get the chance to see it. If not, I'll save that for another time. But as of right now, we'll leave things as it is. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.